revolution. Right. You might run a liberator like Eric Cleave out the country, but you can't run liberation out the country. You might murder a freedom fighter like Bobby Hutton, but you can't murder freedom fighting. And if you do, you come up with answers that don't answer, explanations that don't explain. You come up with conclusions that don't conclude. And you come up with people that you thought should be acting like pigs, that's acting like people and moving on pigs. And that's what we've got to do. So we're going to see about Bobby, regardless of what these people think we should do. Because school is not important and work is not important. Nothing's more important than stopping fascism, because fascism will stop us all.
Welcome to another episode of You Left Shit Out. I'm your host, Compton J, with the great chairman, Fred Hampton. Starting us off with some very revolutionary words, and that's actually what we're going to be talking about in this stream. So you have the eye candy here. The eye candy, I should say, also. But the stream is really, we're here to talk about a new direction for the left, or maybe not new, but to refocus the direction of the left and to a strategy that produces more results for the proletariat. This is proletariat strategies for the proletariat. So that's more of what we want to discuss today. And we're just using the backdrop of we're looking at it as I'm looking at it as a post Bernie AOC future, where there's no reliance on people thinking we're voting in messiahs. We're voting in people that's going to do the work that we need to do. We're voting in non-proletariats to do proletariat work. That concept has to flee our mindset. That we are going to elect millionaires, thousandaires, if you will, people with a lot more money than we have, more money than the working class has, and they're going to do the work and come up with the legislations and the solutions that's going to help the proletariat. It's a flawed strategy from the onset. So we're going to be talking about that. But before we do that, let's do a chat check. Let's see who's here. I'm here. What's up? So yes. So this is about so what we have, why sort of this topic too is RBN has a meeting coming up this weekend, and where we're going to be nailing down what we're going to be doing for the future, for the proletariat, for this movement. And it is my belief that we have to refocus. Yes, post woke. That's a great great one I should have added. This is the post woke era. Post DSA era. You can say all of these things. Post Jacobin era. Like, we have to get beyond these things. And that's what I want to discuss today. And I'm going to use a clip by Chris Hedges, an appearance that he was on Jimmy Dorsey's. This is a while ago. But what they're talking about is what we as a left need to refocus the left in doing. So let me actually bring that up here. Actually, let me start off with some words I have written down here. Let me see. I don't want to skip these. It's time for the American left to discuss strategies post the squad and post the Bernie Sanders era. The Bernie Sanders era has been a complete failure legislatively. And people, the proletariat, needs legislation, not words, not virtue signaling. They need material conditions improved. So that is what we have to zero in as a left. And I would hope that RBN is going to be at the forefront of this. But think of this way: the Bernie Sanders era is AOC era, the Squad era is the Justice Democratic era, is the reformist leftist era, the PMC era. All of these eras are kind of overlapping. Their era is electing people who supposedly think like us, but are too afraid to apply the pressure needed to affect change. That strategy has been proven not to work. Think about it. Adding people who think like us to a team that ultimately doesn't think like us does what? Instead, the people should take the power, the protest, the movement directly to whomever is in the seat. Apply international pressure or on whomever occupies the seat. So no more of this. Let's elect AOC and hope that she does apply pressures, which we know they're not going to do. It's been proven. No more of that. Why don't we as a proletariat start to look internationally what's happening? Start to look to Sri Lanka of what the sort of protests. And we already know about France. We already know about a lot of these other countries. The protests that's happening. Like, no more of this get people. We just take the fight directly to them. And that, to me, is the way to go. So regardless of whomever occupies the seat, if the people apply enough pressure, if the proletariat applies enough pressure, legislation will be forced, i.e. the civil rights movement. We have to look to history for what we want to do with the future. And the problem is we have the PMC who's trying to convince us there's a different way of doing this than what we can look to in the past. There's a different way of doing this beyond the working class. We can team up with capitalists. We can team up with PMCs, and they're going to be looking out for the interests of the proletariat. I say regardless of who's there. Just like the civil rights era. So let's look to our history and what are some of the most recent historical events, movements that have had some success. We're talking about the Black Panthers. So why aren't we executing some of their plan? What was their plan? Providing for the material needs of the community while educating them politically and building movement. That's what we're looking to do here, or that's what I'm hoping we're looking to do here on RBN. And it's time to organize around interests, and we're going to talk about what that means too. So let me man, that is some beautiful words there. Colorado People's News. I don't think they think like us. They have learned to talk like us, and that is 100% accurate. Let me move this down. I feel like there's too much space above my head. I gotta start. So yeah, absolutely great words. But let's go here. Thank you for already shouting out before I even get there. Sulamoon, I think that's how you say it. Is it Sulamoon or Sulamoon? 47 likes with 69 watching. That was about 3 minutes ago, so maybe it's changed or updated, but thank you for the update. Greetings and hallucinations. Yes, the Bernie era was milquetoast garbage, but we thought it was told to us that it wasn't, that it was going to be militant. The whole concept of the Justice Democrats that Cenk and Kyle convinced the left of, well, this is supposed to be a militant party, a militant section of the Democrats. And they just weren't that. They spoke a good game. AOC maybe started out like that, and then she ran into Nancy Pelosi and flipped that shit very quickly. So yeah, so let's chat check. There we go. I do love this post-woke era. We have to enter the post-woke era. If it has a theme song, it should be Backstabbers. Oh wow. If 2022 has a theme song, let me just update it because I like this this comment. If the Bernie era, the Justice Democratic era, has a theme song, it should be Backstabbers. They smile to your face, then they turn around and want to take your place. Backstabbers, yes. Yeah, I'm just remembering of that line, Backstabbers on Martin, where he uses the term Backstabbers. Maybe I'll bring up that clip, or maybe there's a clip of that. Martin saying that AOC got her mind right. So let me like I said, let me put, where did I put, oh, so what does what does the future movement look like? We have to drop labels. You keep hearing that. We have to drop these labels. That's why I kind of changed it. First it said a post-Bernie AOC left, and then I updated to say future. I think everywhere. I think I missed it in a couple of places. Maybe the name, I think the title here, but on the graphic. Because we have to think as inclusive with the proletariat. So a post-Bernie AOC proletariat, working class. And so let's look and see what the future should be for the proletariat. This is what the future for the proletariat should look like. Tour for the Poor is an example of how we want to follow in the footsteps of the Black Panthers with providing the material needs to the community. Providing material needs to the community. It's key to this organizing, providing the material needs. So we have inflation, skyrocketing inflation, highest in 40, 50 years. And the government is literally doing nothing. They're trying to break us and force us into these slave wage earning jobs. So what do? Do we wait for legislation from the spineless Bernie Sanders and the squad? Do we wait on that for them to grow a backbone and finally stand up to the Democratic power structure, which is in power and could be providing for the material needs right now? We go around the sons of bitches. We go around them. We go to the community and we say, hey, we have several people in our community that's in need. For those that can provide help, you're not rich, and there could be a time where you're going to be at need too. But right now, you have an extra $5. You toss in. We have 20,000 people following us. 20,000 people puts in a dollar. 20,000 subscribers on YouTube puts in $1. That's 20,000 people. How many material needs can we provide? How many people's material needs can we provide for that our government's not going to do? Our government is not going to do it. These politicians are not going to do it. So what did Tour for the Poor, what did Nick and Rome do? They went out. There's literally thousands of diapers. This is just one of the pictures I started with. Nick, I think in the stream, was like, yeah, at first when I saw the diapers, I was like, I don't know how we're going to get rid of all these diapers, but they did. So the people who receive these diapers, do you think they're looking at Nick and Rome and the people who help distribute these items? Do you think they're looking at them as, oh, look at those damn communists. Look at those damn Marxists. Look at those, nobody's looking. They're saying, look at these kind men who's providing for my material need. And then you sit down and Nick and Rome have a so how is everything going with you? What else do you need in your family? How you're able to pay rent? Okay, everybody's in the situation that you're going in. Let me explain what's happening. Do you understand the government? This, and this. This is how you talk to them. Now, would you be interested in being part of this community where if somebody's in need, we help? You throw in $3 so we can get somebody some diapers. You who? Can we get your email? Can we get this? Let's build this community. Reaching out. Hey, and it's an ongoing thing. We have a GoFundMe, we have a mutual aid where people just tossing in dollars here. Then we just, hey, let's go do a run here. Let's go do a run there. Having chapters throughout the country. It is key because people say this all the time. Organize locally, start locally, start locally. That is true. But there's a key component to local strategies. That's having national mobilization. Looking to the Black Panthers. Again, we have to look to our history. Look to the Black Panthers. They organized locally. They went to Oakland. What does Oakland need? Oakland needs this. They go to Nebraska. What does Nebraska need? Different needs, some overlapping needs, different needs. What do you need here? You got local chapters mobilizing nationally. People need a national connection. And the Black Panthers understood that. There needs to be a national connection. Because people, okay, so you tell me to organize locally. I can only find 7 people. I'm kind of dispirited. I'm kind of discouraged. Now I stop. I do it less and less. But if it's 10 people in my city that's connected to thousands of people nationally, you see how how it affects the local grassroots efforts? You got to have a national connection I'm not going to say that because you can have local success. But a national connection will allow us to have multiple local success stories, more than we would if we didn't do it that way. So that's the point. Yes, and this is one of the things that RBN is going to be talking about. We want to have I don't know if we're going to call it a 10-point, but however many we have, it could be an 8-point plan, a 12-point plan, whatever the number is. This is something we're going to be going into our meeting this upcoming weekend and discussing and hammering out. But this is it. This is the way we're going to go. This is the way the proletariat has to go. We can't, we're moving past them. Now we're going to talk about them because they're going to continue to sell us out. They're going to continue to sell out the left. So we'll talk about them here and there, but we're going to be talking about how they're not doing. And then in the next sentence, we're going to be talking about how another success story locally of organizing. So maybe RBN could have some local chapters. That's another idea. Let me just give you some more pictures of just some of the things. This is the barbecue they had. This is the KC barbecue. Nick was like, "Hey, Ron, when you come down here, maybe we should do something different." Here it goes right here. RBN KC barbecue diaper giveaway, passing out diapers to parents in need now. Mobilized, got the word out locally. So they did that in KC. Then in another 2 days, we do that in Houston. Then another 2 days, we do that in Miami. Then another 2 days, we do that in Long Beach. Then another 2 days, we do that in the Bronx. They're all local, but we're connected nationally. And that is key. And that's something we want to, or I want to push, that I'm going to push in this upcoming meeting here. This is another angle, I guess, of some of the diapers that was purchased. And Nick's caption is hundreds of diapers given out thus far. So that's after it had been whittled down just a little bit. Here's one of the proletariats. Here's one of the working class people that's taking advantage of those diapers. Now, when we go to talk to him, hey, so-and-so down the street, they helped you. They threw in a couple of dollars that was help us get you some diapers for your family. You got, maybe we could all pitch in $50. and we can go help. I see Nick joining. You pop yourself in, sir. I don't know if you're ready. Pop yourself in whenever you want.
Hey, what's good? What's good, CJ?
Yeah. What's up, man?
What's good, fam? What's good, my friends? I was available. I saw the stream, so I popped on. Especially after I saw what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Hello, my friends. It was a good week, man. It was.
Yeah. So talk about it. I'll pass the mic to you. Tell people. So just so if you didn't get a chance, what I was just saying how I'm using your pictures to show we need to move post Bernie, post AOC, post this Justice Democrat strategy. Forget them. They're just amusement in the background. We laugh, we do some streams and laugh at them. We have to decide as proletariats to help each other. Yeah, we have to decide to get in the community. So talk about what happened in KC out there.
Yeah, I think in terms of radicalizing people, talking about mainstream politics is important to do that. Not in like saying that we should participate in it.
Right.
Talk about it in the sense that this is why we should not participate in it because they are clowns, because of the failed promises, because of the state violence that we cover all the time that they support. And people, when we have our coverage and we talk about our the stories that we tend to cover, I tend to cover state violence, class issue, foreign policy, and every once in a while, because we are so on the money, once people can't plays devil advocate against us because people try to do that to protect their own privilege. Because if we are right, if we are right, then what? If we are right and we can't rely on a party, we can't rely on a politician, then what? That scares a lot of people. Then whenever people ask us our solutions, the answer is this. What you guys seeing here? Coming together as a working class movement, engaging in mutual aid and building community and organizations, because this is just the start. Like we build the foundation, like we already talking about it. We're gonna have a whole chapter down here in Kansas City. We had a lot of comrades that came down and helped us. A lot of people who want to help because they saw the pictures like, damn, we didn't know they was doing it for real like that. We had a lot of people like, shit, we're gonna help next time. And we had the giant community of people was like, holy shit, this is a great organization to prop up in Southern Kansas City. Like just the people that was showing up to the barbecue. They're like, oh, holy shit, there are people I knew from the community. Like, oh shit, nigga, I didn't know you was doing stuff like this. How can I help you next time? Then we had to go get some more diapers. We were like, holy shit. Remember I told you we had like thousands of diapers.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm like, how are we gonna get rid of all these diapers? We end up doing that.
Hold on, let me mute this. I want you to keep talking. I just want to play it in the background. Yeah, because it's just him walking. Yeah, go ahead.
And we and because our event was so successful, we got some more donations, and we ended up getting more diapers. We got hundreds of more diapers that we ended up giving out, more than we originally planned. And when we was doing this, we was talking to people, just like you were saying earlier, just having conversations, planting the seeds. And when you're doing this stuff, you don't want to be a political campaign. You know what I mean? It's obvious that you want something out of it, and then we don't. We doing this because we legitimately want to help people in these hard times. So when I was talking to these people like, if people make it easy for you guys, like for real, like you have a great time. Because people are like, why are you guys doing this? Is because they're not used to people who actually care about the well-being of the community. And I don't have to bring up socialism, I don't have to bring up communism or anything like that. I'm like, guys, people are struggling. Our system is failing us. And this is literally what I was telling you. I told one guy straight out of my mouth. I was like, they want you to think that we are individuals and we're supposed to have an individualistic society.
Right.
We're trying to change that. We should come together as a community. We should love each other as brothers and sisters. And he was a really religious dude. He was like, yeah, man, I like that, man. Brothers, this is how God said we should see each other. I'm like, yeah. And I'm not religious, but I'm like, yeah, man, that's what God said. Yeah. We should be brothers and sisters. Hell, any opportunity to drive people left. And I have many conversations like that. Planting those seeds. Telling them that, yeah, man, our politicians not going to do this. We can't rely on leaders to do this. We need to come together as a community and start addressing what we really need. And then through that, we can start having a true society, a true organization that was built through love and compassion instead of just a party that comes every 2 to 4 years, ask for your vote. We can build these foundations, and we can have people that really want to engage in the community because they see good is being done. And that's exactly.
Let me ask you a question. Did anybody ask you if you voted for Obama or Trump? Did anybody ask you what you believe in some other area, or what did they just say, man, you're helping people, you're bringing, wow, yeah, like they don't care about that. So can you speak to that? Like, people don't care about that. We have to organize around interest and material needs, not values. Go ahead.
That's a well said, CJ. And when we was at a few homeless shelters, there was a lot of people that was there. A lot of people around the community were pulling up at the barbecue. We didn't ask them, hey, do you vote for Trump, man? Wait, you did? Oh, you can't get none, bro. You can't. We're not giving you no diet. We can't give you no burgers. We can't give you no hot dogs. You didn't vote for Joe Biden? You don't support Medicare for all? Nope. Get off the line. That's not how it's done. Despite many of the boutique left narrative where they say, oh, you can't organize with Trump supporters, you can't work with or organize with conservatives, or you're red-brown. I live in a largely black area, so most of the people we were helping was black, but there were a lot of poor white people that came by that looked like they look kind of rednecky, right? But we didn't care about that. I wasn't like, what is your beliefs on Roe v. Wade?
Right.
I did it, and then there was this genuine things that you get from so many people in this community, especially where I'm at in this red area. Even the Democrats, because Kansas City is really blue. Even the Democrats are really neoliberal, hyper-capitalist. So
you guys produce Claire McCaskill, yeah. So she's terrible.
Yeah, Claire McCaskill. So I just remember the genuine, like the real thanks and how people were like really thankful, especially when they got them diapers, man. Especially some of these parents and mothers. We did those deliveries because we was like, shit, they can't even pick up these diapers for free. These are the people who really need help, right? So that's why we deliver at the place, and everyone we was feeding and homeless, they wasn't used to people just doing it just because. They're like, no tax write-offs, nothing like, no, this is free. No tax write-offs, no strings attached. And that's right.
No.
I told them the reason why we're doing this because people are struggling. We need to start coming together as a community and reject hyper-individualism. That's the very first seed you plant. And then once you plant that seed of having people reject hyper-individualism and they embrace community, then selling socialism, communism from there is extremely easy.
Right. Right. But that's I think that's so down the line because it's this video. His name is Vivek Chibber. He's a Marxist. I featured him on another show on another stream like a couple of streams ago. But he, like, what he says is that organizing around interests will get people to have the same value. So if you're out there, you don't have to literally say communism this, you're doing it. You get what I'm saying? Communism is what I'm doing. What? This is communism? They told me it's Russia. No. The community coming out and helping, just look at the work. Like, it's such an easy, but this is what I wanted to say as an example when we're out here campaigning and doing this sort of work is like, when we're talking to people, we can literally just say, you see how I'm delivering diapers? Building community is like your neighbor. You're telling me you wouldn't donate $3 for your neighbor to get diapers like this next door if they needed it? That's how you talk. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I'll pass right to you because you're making a good point. Remember what we said? If you just doing this stuff without conversations and without a message behind it, that's just charity. That's the difference between charity and mutual aid. You're just doing just a plain giveaway. I wanted to, at least when I was doing this, I wanted to implant a message on people that to reject hyper-individualism, come together. And we had people that was around that was helping, which was very heartwarming. There was like people in the background. They saw this. I remember this white guy. He came, he grabbed some gloves and let me help you out, man. And they was like, yo, we love what you're doing. I'm like, yo, if you love what you're doing, let's add to this. Don't let this be a one-time thing.
Yeah.
So
people, it's so contagious. It's so like what you give it. It's so contagious because you know what it tells me. It tells me, Nick, that it's human nature, and we've been conditioned against it. We've been conditioned. It is such a normal thing. Like you'll see it. Like tell me, you ain't never been like car accident is a great example. People get in car accident. People stop. They don't know them. They stop and grab people. I remember one time this car flipped over. It was just a bunch of dudes. out in the freeway, bunch of cars, pushing the car over, pulling this person out. One time when I was going to a club in Irvine, like, it is a natural thing. We've been conditioned against the natural sense of helping another human. And that's what we're trying to reconnect with, Nick. I'll pass it back to you, sir.
Yeah, and what do you think our education system is for? Like when we little kids, we are natural socialists. We are extremely creative when we kids, and our education system designed by Rockefeller and his capitalist friends was designed to beat that creativity out of you, beat that socialism out of you, beat that communism out of you, and turn you to individualistic capitalist robots. And it does a good job. It don't want you to have the freedom to express yourself. There are always these studies that say that there are these kids who have the IQ shrunk significantly once they enter school. Like you have kids that are like these bundle of geniuses. Like they're geniuses, and then when they go to our public schooling, their creativity and their ability to think for themselves drops, because that is what our classroom is designed to do. Get in line. Get a single foul line. You follow in direction. You sit in your desk for 25 minutes. You want to you raise your hand, ask for permission. Like this very strict schedule, very strict, which is, to be clear, guys, that could be good for some children. For some people that may work. But as human beings, we are all different, and we are all meant to develop and grow in different ways. But through our system, they just want educated factory robot and workers.
Right.
So the people who succeed in school, the honor roll students, the people who tend to be amazing in school, these are the people who tend to thrive in those set environments. But some people are more like active, hands-on learners. They don't want to sit in the desk all day. They want to learn, and they are just as smart as Susie and Ben, who get all A's. But that is not the environment in which they thrive in. But in our system that is designed to create workers, that is all they care about, right?
Absolutely. Can you tell us? This is you. Can you tell us about this picture? Where are you guys, and who is?
Yeah,
also
I think that
in the picture.
I think that picture was the last picture we did. Cause that's day 3. We was our last run to homeless shelter. So we was like,
is that what that is in the background? Yeah. Is that the homeless shelter with that?
Yeah, this is when they want to clear now. At near the end on the right, on my brother's right, you can see.
Oh, that's your brother. Okay, right.
Yeah, near his top, on his left shoulder.
Oh,
you can see people starting to clear out. But yeah, we was on street because there was like a homeless camp. You can't really see in this picture because we facing away from it. But there's like this camp where there's like 20, 25 homeless people there. You can see some of them on that picture there, but we parked right there, and we just started passing out food. And there was like all these businesses and stores, and there was like, we parked there for a reason, because that was like homeless center where we was at. So we had this camp there, but there are a lot of like homeless people that wander up and down the streets. They're in the neighborhood. I saw, and they was join us for our barbecue as well. So those pictures was.
And then it says here in the caption that also, this is Rome saying, we also helped this young couple get out of the ditch grass between the freeway. I used this time to talk to him about communism, and we exchanged numbers. He says he's ready.
Yeah, the funny thing, because Rome, and we had another Casey Conrad that was helping us. They was making a run. They were making a run. He saw this guy in the ditch, and I'm telling you guys, I met Rome. I've been around Rome for the last few days. There is no one that is more down for the struggle and down for helping people than Rome. This motherfucker eats, lives, breathes, drinks, helping people. That's all he thinks about. Rome is that's all he thinks about. He saw this car. He saw this car pulled over, and he offered to help. The same way we was at a gas station, we were making a run there, and someone had their car broken down, and Rome offered to buy them a new battery. He was trying to help them, and they were like, "No, we got this all figured out." They had help that was about to come, but Rome was about to go help these people broken down at the gas station. Like, this is the kind of stuff, the revolutionary compassion that we need. And it's very inspiring just to be around. Like, just Rome is like this constant ball of energy that's just looking for people to help. Just talking to people in their everyday life, make sure they're okay. So
let's play his this. I think he speaks when he first. So this is before I think he meets you in person. I think this is before that.
I'm here. I'm ready to paint this motherfucker red. It's warm as hell here. It's way warmer than what I thought it would be. It look nice though. It look better in red.
That's it. He's just saying hey to everybody.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, just some great work. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can share these because these are I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead. If you got other ones, then you go ahead.
Yeah, because we put like a ton of these hot dogs and hamburger on the grill, and then we had a lot of chips, snacks, and then we drove out there. This is that place facing the other way near the end of the line. We had all these people line up in this area. This is one of the gentlemen. You see this guy in the red shirt. He was one of the homeless people. He was like, I want to help out, man. This is great. And this happened a lot. Almost every single location. We had another older white guy who did the same thing. He wasn't even a homeless person. He was just one of the people that would kind of like walk in the area. And he was like, oh shit, this is crazy. And he went to help. So that's another great thing you see and that we talk about. People want to help. We don't want people to have this constant fearing of their neighbors. There's just another shot of I think there's like the second spot we was. They're all sitting there. You can't really see the food, but they're all eating here. This is our setup we had in the back of the truck. We had like a ton of hamburger, hot dogs, a lot of snacks there, and we were traveling. We went to like 3 different places. That my brother passing out. Nice little old lady here that we was talking to, that we was getting fed. So this is kind of what we was doing on the day 3 after the barbecue. Yeah, this is a hold on, let me see. I think I have some more here. There's just another line. We had so many people that kept coming up. We did seconds on this other receipts. But anyway, you guys get the point. I'm trying to see if I can find the. I think you already showed the barbecue though. But yeah, it was like Rome was on the train back home now. So it was dope, and I had people I was talking to that used to be part of the KC People's Party, the Missouri People Party, and then oddly enough, the Missouri People Party disbanded. You guys know that? So the Missouri People's Party disbanded because it was like, we don't really fuck with Nick Bryan, we don't fuck with the People's Party, and they decided to do their own thing. So I'm about to pair up with them. We're gonna pair up with some friends I know from KC Tennis, and we're gonna start our own mutual aid organization down here, where we're gonna do stuff like this. We already got the base. We already got people that want to help. We're gonna get some more diapers to some people too, because now we got people spreading the world. Like, oh shit, there's people passing out diapers. So we're gonna get some more diapers to some more people in the city here soon. So
this is great, and this is one of the things that I want our meeting to talk. I mean, many things, but one of the things like what is RBN gonna be doing in the future, because we have to.
That's why I can't wait till us to get RBN headquarters, because me and Rome, we were just chilling here, man. We just chilling, smoking.
Oh, tell us about some. I know you had, because me and Rome had some great discussions. Yeah, tell us about some of the things you talked about.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do. Bro, I tell you, our meeting, we probably share some of these ideas we have for you guys, because me and Rome, we were just here hyping each other up, and we were like, this is just a start, bro. And then Rome, like, we're gonna be back at. We're gonna come back down here. Sorry, CJ, you can go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, we pretty much that's exactly the kind of stuff me and Rome was talking about when we was here. And I couldn't wait to meet one of you guys, so because now we can really bounce ideas off each other. And Rome, I'll tell you guys, when I say that's all Rome cares about, when I tell you guys all Rome cares about is his family and his communism. That's it. So that's all he was thinking about. We like, all right, we got ways we can expand this community. He got a lot of great plans. He told me I'm not gonna spoil a lot of things. He got a lot of great plans. And I was like, yo, we can expand this. We can have chapters. You mentioned it before I even went live. We was like, we can have chapters in different areas.
We've been talking about it in the background.
Yeah. We had we had so many mutuals in Kansas City, because I just sent out the tweet and people knew that we was gonna have this event. We had my boy Rob. We had so many people come down. And they just wanted to help too. So imagine we can spread out in many different cities that we have our comrades. And we are only a channel with like less than 20,000 subscribers.
We're approaching 20, but yes.
Yeah, imagine
away from 20,
imagine if we like this community we are a YouTube channel with 100,000 subscribers. We had this community of people all over the country. Right. We have these RBN chapters putting hostile pressure against the capitalist class. So we're doing this and we organizing, and again, people pulling them away from our capitalist leaders, away from Democratic Party organizations. And now we have this giant, powerful outside organization that can work for the proletariat. Well, and my question is, why haven't we had this before? Like, why do we have to be the ones to establish this kind of stuff? It's a little bit too late, but it needs to be done. And anyone who's willing to help, we are willing to offer a hand to. As long as you have the revolutionary discipline. You have your eyes on the target. We want to work with anyone that's willing to end the war machine, the prison industrial complex, who want to end poverty and fight for the poor working class. Right?
So you're starting to talk about some of the other part that I wanted to also. I mean, I mentioned it earlier, and that's organizing around interests. So what does that mean? That means, and I said this earlier, if you missed it in the stream, that people always say organize locally, which is very, very true, because you have to start at the roots, right? And organizing locally is key. But why organizing locally is so hard is to get it started. People are afraid. People, you know what I mean? They're discouraged. There's only 5 people show up. That's why the mobilization has to be nationally. The same thing the Black Panthers did, what you're talking about now. National idea. People need 10 people in Missouri need to be, or 10 people in a city in Missouri, a small town in Missouri needs to be able to go, yes, there's only 10 people here, but this is not discouraging me because nationally I'm part of this big, large group that's trying, all of us are trying to do this thing. And that's essentially what the Black Panthers were and them trying to, having their chapters, but organizing around interest is this. And this is what the guy Vivek talked about on the stream, and I guess I can bring up that clip. Things like rent control, things like securing housing for the unhoused. The KC Tenants Association or Tenant Union did that. $25 minimum wage in your city. That's easier to get than $25 minimum wage in the state. 25 minutes. So organizing around reallocation of city funds, not just defunding the police, but looking at the city budget saying, we, the people, want a say in how this is allocated. You're doing too much money over here, more money to go to education, more money, running on that. Police 100% accountability to the community, meaning disciplinary actions, including firings. The community board could do that. But these are all local issues that have no partisan. Rent control is for everybody. Securing housing is for everybody. $25 minimum wage is for everybody. Better way of allocating your funds for the city is for everybody. So all of these things is not, like identity politics sort of things. These are interests. Organizing around values, which is what the PMC has been trying to push, is let's organize around everybody. Let's organize around everybody who believes in defund the police, climate action, all these things. And then you've whittled down almost all of the working class out of that group. You've whittled them down. That's not how you organize. You organize around interests, being together, working together like the Amazon people did, like the Amazon workers did. Then you start to talk about these sort of tangent issues. Then you start to discuss and get better understandings. And then this is what Marx talks about. Like these organizations and unions and trades, they're there to get the working class to realize collective power. That is what sort of another result of these sort of organizing efforts are. Nick, I'll pass it to you.
And how crazy was it that the American working class would trick that it was the other way around? You just mentioned how workers have to organize around issues. We got to come together to fight for healthcare. We got to fight together for police accountability. But what people do instead, they come together and they organize to get people elected. So their version of organizing is phone banking, helping a politician win. And then after that, you're done. And then it's upon the politician to get the issues. Do you guys see how what you described is the exact opposite on how people was doing things for a very long time? Instead of having the proletariat come together, like, all right, let's put massive pressure on the ruling class as a collective unit, using our collective power. Instead, we give the power. We're like, come on, please do it, please. Please do it, please. And if you don't do it, we're going to give power to another powerful person, and we hope he does. You guys see how that doesn't make sense? Go ahead, CJ.
You see how it benefits the working class? I mean, the ruling class. You see how they're saying, let the peasants elect the person to represent them who's all about civility politics, is going to stay in the norms of that we've set and try to push us to get. You see how that's a terrible strategy. That is literally, when you think about it, I can't believe
Yeah,
We
and
thought that this would work. Now that I look back on it, like this would never. This only works like Kwame like Kwame Ture says. This only works if the people that's your adversary has a conscience. They
exactly.
don't care if you're starving. They don't look at what they're doing in Afghanistan. They don't care if your kids are getting bombed. They don't care. Like that only works if they have a conscience. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, you can see. Because remember, I showed you people was volunteering to help when we had our Tour for the Poor events. Meanwhile, you had to pull teeth to get people to show up and vote for a Democratic electoral event. This is what Democratic operatives did, what Republican operatives complain about all the time. People getting people out to vote, getting people out the phone bank. People don't want to do that because they inherently know that's bullshit. They don't. You had to pull teeth and do everything you can to get people involved in the electoral system. Meanwhile, you get involved in mutual aid, you get involved in union organizing. People jump in and sign up to do it because they know that's inherently a beneficial idea. Giving power to the system and then asking the system to take its power from itself, that does not make sense. Especially once you read into history, look into any sort of organizing theory. And that is the message that the boutique left, the managerial class that we discussed this week, have been feeding us.
And it's a strategy that it's for them, that benefits them, and we have to understand that. I think we can now, because I do want to play a couple of clips.
This comment right here also highlights our main criticism that a lot of people don't understand. The great comment. This person said the money raised for Bernie and the squad would have been better used for mutual aid and local community. Guys, the Democratic Party raised $80 million after Roe v. Wade was pulled. Imagine $80 million doing what me and Ron was just doing for our community. You can provide direct aid to the people we claim we are fighting for our fight for abortion, right? You can help the women. You can help families in need with that $80 million. Instead, they about to take that money and pay it to consultants so they can have a 7-figure salary and they can take an extra vacation. Well done, working class. And that's why we had to speak out against politics. And why having these stories when we talk about ordinary political events is not a bad thing. Because we can be there while everyone paying attention to this bad thing. Hey, guys, know you want to donate to politics? Don't fucking do it. That's why you have to talk about normal shit every once in a while. But go ahead, CJ. I just want to.
No, that's a great point because we hear the criticism. Why are you talking about them? Why are always? It's a needed thing when people are still invested in that. It's our job, as I feel like RBN is what we're doing is we're trying to release this stranglehold that people have over the proletariat, that these concepts of voting for either one of these parties is going to do anything for the working class. It's not. It's simply not. And I do want to bring up a clip with Chris Hedges. He does make a couple of points in this interview with Jimmy, but but again, we're just playing a couple of clips. I do want to get your idea about a particular idea. This whole idea of electing, like, oh, let's find a Nina Turner, let's find an AOC, let's find an Ilhan Omar, and let's elect them. Why is that even a strategy? Why not just say whoever's in the seat, we pressure them? When civil rights happened, didn't they pressure people that was Republicans that had to end up voting for that stuff? So if you apply enough pressure, it doesn't matter who's in the seat. So, but we're laying our hopes on, let's get some people who have our ideas and let them, no, because we're giving away our power. Take our power back, regardless of who's in the seat. We're going to pressure them enough to produce the legislation we want. But in this clip, Chris Hedges kind of gives a critique of the left and then talks about, let me talk about, give a analysis of what he says after the first 2 minutes of this clip.
Well, it tells you that the self-identified left is largely divorced from everything that's relevant that's going on in the country. And in fact,
think about that line. Largely, think about what the left, not us, what people who call themselves the reformists, to think about what their the things they're pushing is largely disconnected from what the working class needs. What are they pushing? Just like random, just, oh, vote for this act, vote for this act. Is that materially helping the people that really need this help? Like, it's so disconnected, Nick,
instead of forcing
material
a vote,
reality.
Instead of forcing a vote on healthcare, AOC was like, we passed a bill so we can cover the deaths of your loved ones. That kind of stuff, right?
Right. It's never to help the need now. And I think it's specific. Is a reason for that is because we saw the backlash to the extra money to the unemployment. When people didn't go back to work, what were the ruling class? See, we gave them extra money. It's all about getting us back to the labor. So any extra money, any extra thing they do for us that's going to stop us, allow us to think, wait a minute, I don't want to deal with this fucking job. Wait a minute, I don't want to go back to slave labor, slave wages, or starvation wages. I want to give respect to slavery. So starvation wages. So let's continue with the video.
Spends most of its time critiquing and attacking itself. So yeah, I think it's a signal that the left itself has kind of retreated into a boutique kind of activism that doesn't really have is utterly disconnected from the lives of working men and women and the working poor.
Yeah, I think it's even worse than that. I think that I keep wondering, like, as I drive around the country, like, I toured the country for 30 years as a stand-up comic, and I've seen all those places you wrote about in America, the farewell tour, and I saw it happen. Places like Anderson, Indiana, and Rockford, Illinois, and all those places. I've been Minot, North Dakota. I've been all of those places, and I just kept wondering, well, eventually the people will rise up and they will revolt. And now there's people in California. We have a supermajority Democratic Party and a Democratic governor, and there's people living under every bridge. And
I want to stop here to make another point. California is the example of having a supermajority Democratic state legislator. So those, if we just get Democrats in, we're gonna get all of this. Look to California. Is any of that done? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Nick.
That's the difference between serious people and deeply unserious people. The deeply unserious people are the people who are still pretending that the Democrats are better than the Republicans. Meanwhile, the serious people like us, we understand that politics are local. It's state level. That's where the most benefits come from. So if you think the Democrats are so good, look at the state of blue cities and blue states.
Right.
That they are in charge of. The LAPD is a criminal organization that was funded, financed, and supported by Democrats. Stop and frisk was a policy that was maintained and ran by Democrats in New York, a blue state. Where was Derek Chauvin killed? Who's the senator of that state? Amy Klobuchar. What did Amy Klobuchar do? She refused to prosecute Derek Chauvin. So when people say stuff like, well, the Democrat Party is lesser to evil than Republican, that does not compute if you understood local politics and the policies that they are doing that destroys our communities. That's why you see people outside of those communities, from suburbia, from the Nancy Pelosi districts, right? They host channels where they're like, well, Democrats, they are not as bad as Republicans because they got good rhetoric, they got nice tweets, all this kind of shit. But they don't actually care about the material conditions and the results of the policies that the Democratic Party passes, not only nationally, but what impacts locally as well. The impacts of them being pro-big business, them being anti-union. They don't talk about these effects on the real proletariat, which is what their coverage is missing, which is what Chris Hedges and with Jimmy and with the channel, that lens that we have unapologetically. So go ahead, CJ.
Just think about all the killings, the murders. Who's the mayors of these cities? Who's the governors of these? Like,
guys, every single Democratic mayor pledged to fund the police more. That was a pledge they did because you guys know how the Republicans are coming out and saying Democrats are weak on policing. So to counter that, Democrats have been pledging support to the police state. Now you see how voting is more. It is an expression of yourself, unlike what Sam Cedar says. Because your vote is a mandate. And every time you guys vote for these people, they say, well, you guys voted for us and we said we're going to do it. So that gives us permission to do it. But sorry, so go ahead, CJ.
No, that's great. I think I'm going to bring up that clip in a second after this one. But since we're here at this juncture, let's do a like check. We're at 263 people watching. Last time I checked, we had 185 likes. Can we push that to 250? Can we push it to 250? We have 262.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's push it to 250. Let's get some more people watching this live. This is a very important topic because I think it's the way of the future for the proletariat, for the working class. We have to accept that nobody's going to help us. These politicians are not. The great man theory, the single person theory, it's just made up fallacy. It's a lie. It's something that's like propagandized through Hollywood media, through Hollywood movies. You can believe it because, well, Tom Cruise did it. Tom Cruise was the only one in Mission Impossible. He saved everybody, so it's possible. No, it's not. It is not possible if you understand the enemy that we're up against. But let's continue with the video.
And there's nobody has a plan to do anything about it. And so I just kept wondering, well, so sooner or later, people, and then there was the largest upward transfer of wealth in human history called the CARES Act that every progressive voted for in Congress, including Bernie Sanders. Nobody did anything to stop it. And the reason why this keeps happening is because there is no left. Every time there's a lefty organization, they immediately they're invented to co-opt the energy of revolution. When, like, for instance, like the Justice Democrats started a super PAC last year. Now our revolution is ditching Bernie and the progressive movement signature issues, and they're rebranding like they're Hillary Clinton. It started with, remember, the Working Families Party was founded in 1998 by unions and not profits to reform the Democratic Party, and it followed the same trajectory. Kucinich's staff formed Progressive Democrats of America after 2004, and it followed the same trajectory. Howard Dean formed the Democracy for America in 2004, and it followed the same trajectory. Brand New Congress was formed by Bernie's staff after his 2016 presidential run, and it followed the same trajectory. The DSA blew up in 2016, and it's following the same trajectory. They all end up moving right and sucked into the corporate Democratic.
That is such a great point, Nick, that all of these attempts we're finally have been co-opted. All of them, all these attempts to somehow make the corrupt electoral system work for the people have all been co-opted. The Working Families Party, I forgot how they started. The New Democrats, how they started. Like, they're all corrupt. They're all been co-opted. The Justice Democrats, what they started out to be. Then they got a super PAC. And then I did a whole stream on how the history of all this. They've been changing in front of us. The Justice Democrats specifically have literally changed from the outset of what they were supposed to be to what they are now. They've changed over time and told us publicly. But we still have the same expectation that Cenk and Kyle told us when they're not the same organization. And they've told us that. But we still think it's the same thing we're going to do. We have to get out of this cycle. Go ahead, Nick.
Come on, CJ. Don't be a negative Nancy. I'm sure the next effort will work. I'm sure the next people that try to infiltrate the Democratic Party, they won't be tempted. I'm sure they won't be corrupted. I know that all the other attempts that we have failed. I know that there's a lot of people that are swayed by big money, but trust me, the next one, I know that they will have their heart in the right place. Surely. It's insane that people will repeat the same strategies. And then they ask him questions about how the working class is so weak.
It's terrible. But let's get back to the clip, and then I also got another clip to show.
Democratic Party reduced to controlled opposition, and the Justice Democrats and our revolution are just the latest in that cycle. So how do we break out of this? That's why there's no left. That's why, because every time they take all that energy, and Bernie Sanders did it for 2 election cycles. How do we break out of this?
Well, by not investing a lot of time in the brands such as Bernie and AOC and everyone else, and investing in radical movements that march for Medicare for all, or that stop the Enbridge pipeline, or that get out in the streets to protest police violence. That's where all of our energy has to go. And unfortunately, there is a significant amount of energy directed upwards or invested into these figures who you correctly point out are full members of the establishment. And I include Bernie Sanders. We should never forget that Sanders campaigned for Bill Clinton in 1996. That was after NAFTA. That was after the omnibus crime bill, after all of the assaults that Clinton carried out against the students I teach in the prison. I mean, half of them wouldn't be there but for Clinton and Biden. So Sanders has always had a very dirty quid pro quo with the Democratic Party. They wouldn't mount a serious opposition to him in Vermont. He wouldn't foster third-party movements.
They won't run an opposition to him in Vermont. In exchange, you won't foster third-party roots. I feel like the DSC Jacobin PMC crowd is the crowd that is reluctant of breaking away from this Bernie Sanders spell. They're the ones that's trying to keep this. They're the ones that are offended when we judge them. Yeah, they're the ones that are offended when we criticize him. This is something we have to just face. There's a person who woke a lot of people up, but he still has a problem. Like that, it could be true. This idea that a person has to be all good or all bad, like it's so bizarre, and we have to stop thinking that. And let me just give you an example. Like yesterday, I did a stream on Abby Martin talking about the CIA, the birthday. Somebody said Abby Martin is suspect in this, and I'm like, are you guys? Do you think everybody's gonna have every single idea you have, and that's the only people you're supposed to organize? I don't understand this ideology. It's very frustrating to have to deal with people like that. It's like the person is anti-imperialist, the person is this, the person is this, the person is this, but the person doesn't believe in one thing. Oh, I can't. What does that do for the movement? What does that do?
I just don't understand the lines. Like I have my lines is generally anti-imperialism in a form of anti-capitalism, and that's why you see the people we critique are people on the left who are literally capitalists, like the Cenk Uygurs, the TYTs, who are literally imperialists, like the same people. They literally are progressive Zionists. So if you are imperialist for the most part, I find yourself an ally. There are a lot of these weird litmus tests people have. A lot of it's kind of score online points.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about this on one of my streams before, where there's like people constantly debating, should we support patriotic socialism? Should socialists be patriotic? I'm like, does it seem like a giant issue that we should be dividing socialism? Like, I'm personally not patriotic, but I can see the argument that someone would use that to convert people to proletariat. And I don't agree. But that's not a big issue for me to divide. Like, I've seen people like cancel, like, hell no, we got to cancel all patriotic, cancel this person if he's not social. Like, let's have some revolutionary discipline, guys. There's some issues that are worth fighting over, and some of them are not. I think that's kind of the point.
Right. This is the reason why you're talking about people trying to organize around values instead of organizing around interest. You run into these stories. Organize around interests, not values. Interest is like tangible things. I want my local schools in the city of Compton to be funded, to get increased funding. I want renovations to the local schools. I want increased funding for the teachers. I want $25 minimum wage. That's not a, do you believe this? Do you believe that? It's, do you want $25 minimum wage in our city? You do? Let's go. There's none of this other stuff. We have to get out of that. We have to get out of trying to organize around values. And another thing that Vivek said, I might have to play that clip now that I keep, is like, just think about the concept of what PMC is trying to push. They're trying to push, raise the level of consciousness, everybody, and then you organize. You know how long that's going to take? So you only want to organize with people who are already in your space. If that's the case, wouldn't you already have been winning? Like you want to only organize with people who are already there. That's not how you organize. You organize around interests. Those interests are going to lead to common values. And that is the theory. I'll bring that clip up in a second after we play a little more of this, because Chris make a couple of more key points, and then we'll move on.
In Vermont, he caucuses with the Democratic Party, indeed has seniority with the party. Between 2016 and this election, he carried Schumer's luggage. You could see him. What was he, director of outreach or something? Yes. So I think Bernie was a positive force in that he actually spoke about the reality that Americans are confronting, and one of the very few politicians who did. But this whole thing of a political revolution was a campaign slogan. It wasn't
a campaign slogan, and that should tell you about Bernie Sanders. You had Bernie Sanders. Let's think about this, Nick. He had millions of dollars raised off of poor and working class people. Millions in the bank. He's topping fundraising efforts by people who's getting millions from corporations. So we know the proletariat can provide that to him, right? We know that. We know the funds are there. We know the people are anxious for that person. Joe Biden and Obama came in and put their arm around him, and he said, fuck the movement. Left us high and dry. Nothing? No direction, really? When you got all these people who are ready and you're telling us we need a movement that does all of this. Why would a person do that, Nick? Why would a person have this at his doorstep and just walk away, Nick?
That's exactly why we're extremely critical, Bernie. Even though I was on his campaign and helping him win. And the reason why I did that, because he was messaging as a political revolution. When Bernie spoke, he said he was going to challenge the Democratic Party establishment. He didn't say he was just going to be a Democratic Party shield that was going to help them win. He said the Democratic Party establishment, political revolution. So the reason why we're extremely critical, because they lied to the working class. That's no different than what the neoliberals, what the average capitalists do when they have their campaign lies. In fact, you can make the argument that's even worse, because when you have someone like Joe Manchin who's running, who's taking corporate cash, he's like, guys, you see who signs my paycheck? What the fuck? You guys think I work for you? That's your fault. If you vote for me and I'm Joe Manchin, that's your fault. Meanwhile, the progressives, they take money from the working class and then betray them. I still get text messages to this day. Literally, like yesterday, I got one. And I ain't signed up for no Democratic Party email list. The only one I ever did. The only campaign I ever fucking signed up for was Bernie. He sold us out. He literally gave our email list away to the capitalists. People donate to AOC thinking she's gonna fight for single payer health care. Then AOC gave that money away to CIA Democrats like Connor Lamb, who lost their election anyway. So this is a con on another level. If you think the corporate Democrats who take corporate money, and Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden, like, I don't care if you die if you don't have health care. Yeah, we're gonna launch wars. Yeah, we're gonna support Israel. Yeah, we're gonna support real estate instead of solve the homelessness. If you support us, you're a fucking dipshit. Fuck you. If you support them, that's your fault. Meanwhile, Bernie and them, they do the fucking scam where they take your money. TYT, everyone, they asking for your money in the middle of the pandemic while people are struggling with no intentions of fighting for people. How is that not a worse scam?
Terrible. I'm looking for that clip here.
One thing I want to say, why you look for that?
Go ahead.
One thing I want to say, be aware
there he goes.
of the Bernie industrial complex. You guys know the quote, the phrase, be aware of the military industrial complex. Be aware of the Bernie industrial complex. There are people who made a fortune on the Bernie campaigns and riding the wave of AOC, riding this progressive Justice Democrat wave. The last thing they want to do is give this up. Why do you think they still playing this game? They still doing the let's elect more Democrat game. They getting high profile interviews. We interviewing Nina Turner today. This is great for them. This is make these people. We are post Bernie. Like RBN is post Bernie, where we had to figure how to pick up the left from this massive defeat while everyone didn't care about politics. Meanwhile, there are people who just rode that wave, became rich, David Schroeder making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month.
Yeah.
But then you guys wondering why they still repeat the same strategy? They have a vested material interest in this. And this is what Marxists we bring up, and capitalists are like, "Oh, you can't bring this up, man." Or what are you implying? Are you implying Are you implying that I could be corrupted? Yes, sir. and that's why we get blocked, because we have a analysis on this.
We're not implying.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so I want to play this clip since he's gone. I'll play this clip where they talk about. I'll play the clip and then I'll give my thoughts.
But neither of which represent the working class, and I would go so far as to say neither of these parties represent most working people.
So I play that also to pivot a little bit this conversation to these parties, because this is specifically why we advocate not to support Democrats or Republicans, because of what she just said here, which neither one of them represents the working class. And we want the working class to be, we want our ideas to be represented, and not for people to say, wait till next time. This is not the right time. So we advocate, and I must say, we advocate aggressively for the working class not to support either of these parties. But can you speak to how she defined what we can call it the Brahmin left, or just the upper echelon, but let's call them the Brahmin left. I think that's what she said. The Brahmin left. Can you speak more about the upper echelon of the PMCs?
Yeah, sure.
And then also that last part about the Democrats or Republicans, by the way, not representing the working class. Can you speak to both of those points?
I will, but I do just want to emphasize one thing, Jay. I totally agree with you about aggressively advocating for supporting neither party at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally with you on that. I know that it's not necessarily like popular on all levels of left, but I don't really care anymore. I just want to say that I feel like working class people have been in an abusive relationship with the Democratic Party. And it's time to just quit that abusive relationship, because you keep hoping that your partner will change. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're not changing.
And
the sooner we realize that, the better.
The only thing about
that is great.
They say, like, when asked why they decided to fund the police more despite the protests, they said because we ran on it and they voted for us. So they will use your support against you guys, because they use your support as a mandate.
So that's the part the Nick says at the end. They use your support as a mandate, when they just said, hey, lesser of two evils, you may not want him, but let's just get Trump. And then you vote for him, knowing you're saying, hey, I don't like this guy. Oh, but they gave us a mandate. We said we're running on police this, and you told us, no, it's not. No, it's too late. But I also played this clip because of what she says here. Because when she came on the show, she's a regular on Jacobin, so she's in spaces with people like DSA and stuff like that. But she's a Marxist, so she tries to play. She plays nice with them and everything. But she knows she's going to get some criticism for her saying, "Hey, I'm for you not supporting either party." And then later on, she kind of talks about DSA basically being the training ground for PMCs and training.
I was wondering why, because she was saying a lot of base shit the whole stream. But then before she would say stuff like, yeah, I know this may not be popular to some people. And then she would say something base. I'm like, wait, who would that be unpopular for? And they reminded me, oh, yeah, she is part of the Jacobin crowd. So that makes sense now. I that makes a lot of sense now, but go ahead.
Yeah, and but the point of the clip, and the point that you were saying in the clip, Nick, is that they use the they ask for your vote as a lesser of two evil. We know you don't like him, but then when you give them the vote, then they tell you, oh, you gave us a mandate, and we're just gonna go ahead and do all these things.
Remember the video of Sam Cedar where he was like, people who think that your vote is like your expression of yourself.
Yeah,
that's not what you should think of it. You should be thinking of it more.
I can't believe he said that.
And I asked you guys, how does that benefit the working class with that ideology? Remember when it was like a week ago or so. How does that benefit the working class? I'll give you guys a real life example. Something that just happened on why this ideology is extremely foolish to have. If you're like Sam Cedar and you're rich, this ideology is great because you're good. No matter who wins, Republican, Democrats. Hell, if Republicans win, you might even get a tax break. The Democrats helping Republicans getting a tax break might help you out. Is this the video of him saying it?
Yeah, I can play it. I can set it up so you can comment.
Play
Sure.
first, and then I'll finish my comment. Because this is before we play the video. Think about it this way: how did this ideology help the working class? And I'll explain to you guys, and I'm gonna give you guys a real life example of how this backfired on the working class movement. Go ahead, CJ.
I think there's two clips, two parts, but so then it might be another one too. But this is one of them at least.
Voting is not an art project. Voting is not a way to give yourself a medal. Voting is not.
Let me turn it up. I want everybody to hear this because this is exactly the clip where he's
this
saying
is a crazy ideology.
Voting is not an art project. Voting is not a way to give yourself a medal. Voting is not an expression of who you are inside. It sounds laughable, but
you see how she laughs about it? That you're gonna vote to get things for your community.
You dumb workers. You dumb workers.
Yeah. Now, so let's finish it. I want to try to let it play this time. It's only a minute and a half.
It sounds laughable, but
no, it's the narcissism of it. I mean, we were having to not to relitigate this from 20.
The narcissism of workers.
But that is that.
Why are you so selfish? That you're trying to get something for your community. Well, we're just trying to get AOC elected.
These selfish workers. You want these things like healthcare? I already got that. What about me? What about making me comfortable? Okay, I know you got these demands, but I don't want the Republicans to win. Okay, it's about me making me comfortable. I don't want to see the mean tweets. Okay, you guys asking for stuff. Stop asking for shit. Okay.
An expression of who you are inside. It sounds laughable, but
no, it's the narcissism of it. I mean, we were having to not to relitigate this from 2016, but that is that this is the exact debate that we were having, the exact impulses that we were combating.
Exactly. And it is a tool. And if you have a plan that involves voting for one choice that will lead to the best outcomes, and I kept begging people for that is called a theory of change in the context of electoralism. There's other theories of change you can apply, but like if you can come up with that and sell it, I'm all ears. But it's just bizarre to watch people go like, I'm proud of the fact that I didn't vote for either one of the candidates. You know what? You're an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that voters en masse should move away from a lesser of two evils approach for nothing. Like, there's no alternative. It's just out of your theory.
It doesn't. We do have an alternative, but I'm glad he's off camera on purpose because he says some of the dumbest shit. He's off camera because he's saying the idea that we're going to walk away from the lesser two evil without having another plan. Let's just, like you always say, we can take it the way you want to, or we can do it the way it actually is. Let's do it the way you want to. You're telling me a strategy that's not getting anything, but just gets my hopes up, I shouldn't walk away from, even if I don't have another strategy. So you're telling me you're in a bad relationship, terrible relationship. You need to get another relationship before you walk away from that one? That doesn't make any sense at all. But okay, let's take it the other. But I don't necessarily believe it's that way. I do believe there is another strategy, and I do believe that strategy they've been well informed, people who are reformists. But if you only accept electoral strategies, then the strategies that the proletariat has come up with, you don't accept, Nick. That's why they always say you have nothing, because they don't accept what our strategy is.
This is an ideology coming from a person who has healthcare, who has housing, these people are privileged. These people are millionaires. And they're telling you that voting not a form of self-expression. You got to be technical and think. How about the fact that we are? You see the smug condescension that somehow these dumb workers don't know what's best for them and themselves. Now let's examine his ridiculous ideology, the idea that we should just vote based on, I don't know, fear. Like I don't even know his argument here. It's fear. Okay, so you guys realize that the Democratic Party ran on funding the police more in 2020, right? And this is why I told people why we can't vote for Joe Biden. Because on the debate stage, he was making the argument that the Democratic Party is the pro-police party, that Donald Trump and the Republicans wanted to defund the police. So despite this, Black Lives Matter was like blinders, earmuffs, and pretended they wasn't hearing anything they were saying on campaign trail. And they still endorsed him. They still celebrated his victory. And then when Biden and them took office, they started to do what? They started to fund the police more, exactly like they said they was going to do. Then activists started to complain. And then you guys want to know the message of the Biden administration? I covered this a long time ago. The message of the Biden administration was like, guys, we ran on funding the police more. So you guys voted for us, so we had to mandate to fund the police more. And that is how politicians always work, always think. They don't give a fuck if you like them or dislike them. The idea that they do is an unbelievably childish political analysis. Do you think Joe Biden on Twitter like, oh my God, the people being mean to me? The only thing they care about is if you vote for them or not. They don't care if these fucking peasant workers don't like them. They already don't think anything of you. So why do you think they care if they like you or not? The only thing they care about, if you go into that booth and fill that check mark with a D or R. Right? D for Democrat, R for Republican. If you vote for their team, they could care less if they have 15% approval rating, 20% approval rating. They would say, well, and this is what centrist Democrats do all the time. They would say, well, if progressive ideas are popular, why do voters keep supporting moderate Democrats? Because if they see you as voting for them as permission to keep going. So if you are Sam Cedar and you want to change the country in a more progressive way, how does it make sense to give your vote away to them? And remember, before the election, I was making the prediction, and I got a stream I'm preparing. I'm going to show you guys all the predictions I got right. I predicted Joe Biden escalating against Iran. I'm gonna break that down here soon. I predicted everything that Joe Biden has done in his administration, all his failed promises. I knew he was going to be just like Trump on foreign policy, on immigration. I can show you guys that. People thought I was being a doomer. And one of the reasons why I made that prediction was because I saw how easily the progressives fold. They endorsed him 6 months before the fucking general election. So I was like, okay, Biden has no pressure on the left. Even if he did, he would still go crazy. But so not only do he have no pressure on the left, you have the entire left endorsing him, pretending he's something he's not. So that spelled a recipe for disaster. Now, a lot of left-leaning people are running around like a chicken with their head cut off. I can't believe Biden's not doing this. I can't believe Biden is this bad. This is what happens when you swear your allegiance to a party without any concessions, which the quote-unquote dumb left, as Sam Cedar calls, this is what we was asking. I would never vote for Joe Biden, right? But my criticism of Bernie and his wing, and once again, CJ, we can do it both ways. I don't think you should vote for Biden, right? You shouldn't vote for Joe Biden. But if you was going to vote for Joe Biden, let's think about the way you should have done it. Me personally, if I vote for Joe Biden, I am keeping that shit to the grave until literally the election day. And I'm like, yo, if you guys don't get Medicare for all, if you guys don't support a Green New Deal, if you guys don't support decreasing the police budget, I'm not voting for you. I'm not supporting you. Fuck Joe Biden. The whole time, fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden.
Yep.
Fuck Joe. And then the election come, like, God damn it. I'll cave. But by doing that, you put maximum pressure. Then you get people like, oh shit, we got to give them something so they vote for us. Meanwhile, what they did, it was like, we're going to vote for Joe Biden no matter what. So Joe Biden went to the door and was like, bro, we got this, bro. We got this. And that was happening. What Sam Cedar in his ideology won, meaning this is the ideology that the left followed. The left didn't listen to me. The left listened to me. We would have the Green Party, you have multiple third parties hitting that 5% threshold so we can get funding. The Green Party got like 0.3%. People's Party nowhere to be seen. Libertarian Party didn't hit threshold. So they didn't listen to me. The left listened to Sam Cedar and his ideology, and now look at the state of the working class. Look at the state of the working class after we decided to not have our votes as a form of expression, right? Sorry, go ahead, CJ.
No, that's all good. I was just looking for the clip because the clip of the girl, I'll bring it up. The girl that's being interviewed after Roe v. Wade is overturned, and she has this great critique of the Democratic Party, and they're terrible. Yeah, I'm gonna end up voting for them anyway. Why would they do anything different? Why would they do anything different then? I can't find the clip.
Whenever you criticize them and then you end it with I'm gonna vote for the men, where they're like, oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. Thank you for your little complaint. You know, shoot, go somewhere. You know, no, they could not give a shit. Why do you think they are extremely upset and they melt down over Susan Sarandon, right? But they don't get mad at someone who like criticizes Democrats every once in a while. Like Democrats, like there's celebrities that'll criticize Democrats all the time. But what is your message every 2 years? Susan Sarandon message is tell them fuck you. We're not voting for you. So other people, they will criticize Democrats, but they're like, oh, come on, man. You know I don't like Democrats, but the Republicans are worse. So they don't care. They don't care.
Why
kid to them?
What else could people do, Nick? So if they're leaving the Democratic Party, of course they're not going to vote for the Republican Party. It's almost like people don't understand that there's other options.
That's when they get stuck in that. That's when they get stuck in that ridiculous loop that only brainwashed Americans fall for, where people are like, well, if both parties don't represent workers and they both criminals, what should we do? And that's when we're like, hey, how about we support a third party because third parties only need a 5% threshold, and we need to start the movement right now. Even if we don't win right now, we can start the movement so we can continue to build and we can create real change. Then they're like, well, that would never happen. Third parties will never win. Now I'm like, oh, okay. So if everyone who was pissed off and everyone who had that thought like you did vote for a third party, our plan would be a success. But that's years of propaganda. People will just be like, oh, third parties can't win. There's no reason to fight outside of the Democratic and Republican Party. If everyone who had that thought just fucking went for it, we'll be in a way better position.
Way better position right now.
It's literally just that simple. It's just that simple. If anyone who's like, oh my God, third party can win, just fucking did it, just supported third parties instead of allowing nihilism to get over them. Like, I'm not saying they will win, but we'll get 5%.
But I mean, we would have already hit 5% if Bernie Sanders would have just made one simple different decision in 2016 when they gypped him, and then he just said, I'm running as when Jill Stein said, hey, come be part of the top of the ticket over here, and he said no to that. When Chris Hedges was begging him, when Kashama Sawant was saying, hey, run third party, take this movement over there, this movement is ready to go, and he said no, I don't want to be like Ralph Nader.
Bernie is at least getting on the debate stage. 5% is a giant mountain to climb for a random independent candidate, right?
Yeah.
But if you Bernie Sanders, who got the most individual donations out of any candidate in history, and then you go third party. Now remember, there are a lot of like right-winger conservatives who are anti-establishment, but they will never vote for Bernie because he's in the Democratic Party primary. And remember, guys, people got small imaginations. Imagine the shockwave that will be sent. Remember the conversation we had about forced to vote, where people don't understand the issue. Like if what would happen if the squad decide not to vote for Nancy? That would be a giant story that would send massive shockwaves. It's something that like the mainstream media can ignore, right? The same thing if Bernie ran third party. That is such a massive story. You can't do a Bernie blackout on that. Then there are a lot of people who probably just wouldn't vote for Bernie because he's a Democrat. These are people who's just like, fuck it, burn it down. Maybe they don't even care about Medicare fraud. They just kind of like, man, I don't want to support anything other than the system. They see Bernie run. They see the momentum, and Americans are bandwagoners. They see Bernie at 55%. They get 15%, which I think no doubt he would do. Then get on the debate stage, and hell, even if they deny him from the debate stage, massive story. Bernie Sanders denied from the debate stage.
Right.
The deadline. Then a discussion is taking place. These are the. And I'm saying Bernie will not win. He will not become president. Even if he got the most vote, they wouldn't allow him to, right? But these are the kind of mountainous shockwave events that we need to pull people away from the two-party system that we never had. We couldn't never develop these shockwaves because a lot of people in the position that could start them was cowards. They sold out.
That can produce these shock waves. They're refusing it because of Bernie. Just think where the Green Party would have been in 2020 if Bernie Sanders did that in 2016.
That's why
it would be a completely different party. There would be a lot more states that's qualified. It would be completely different, and he chose not to do that.
That's why Cornel West told Chris Hedges. Chris Hedges said this all the time. Almost every interview he shared a story where Cornel West is like, Bernie misses historical moment, and that's such a great quote because the people without imagination, they can't imagine it. But look how much the Justice Democrats and DSA exploded because Bernie was a Democrat. God, just imagine, there's no one like that in third party. Once again, we all know the criticism that we have of Bernie, but the same could apply to anyone we have criticism of. Having someone with that name recognition, who had the most donations of all time, going third party, and then once again, shockwave, just people who don't think. You can't think outside of just the initial political analysis, right? So Bernie quits the Democrat Party, go third party. That become the news around the world. And people asking them why. Why won't you support Hillary Clinton? Why will you do something so drastic as going third party? Then you bring up Hillary Clinton's record, how she destroyed Haiti. This is massive public education opportunity. These people don't think because it's all about their material. That's how we say. That's how you know people sell now. If you think long term, once again, you have the media in the United States, they'll smear them like crazy, right? People in other countries, this will be global news. People will be like, why is he doing this? Then people will learn about what Hillary did in Haiti. People will learn about the Clinton Foundation, the bride that took from Saudi Arabia. People will learn about Libya. The only thing it would take is Bernie would say this shit. He would go and put he go on CNN, primetime news. Bernie, why are you willing to allow Trump to win if you're running third party? Well, I understand you guys are concerned about Donald Trump, but the reason why I can't support Hillary Clinton, my conscience won't allow me to do that. Look at what Hillary Clinton did in Libya. Look at what she did in Haiti and how the Clinton Foundation defrauded them. Look at the war on poverty and the war on kids that the Clintons did in the 90s. They cut welfare. They cut entitlement programs. They deregulate. This is a massive education event. So that happens. We don't necessarily win. Imagine where we're at right now after this years of shakeup. Years of people man, maybe we should join this. Even people who don't agree with Bernie, but people don't like both parties. Man, maybe we should just join this side so we can fix this problem in this country. But this is the massive chance they squandered.
He squandered. But I was gonna say, and think about what would have happened, because you could people. Where is the energy most right now in politics? It's against Republicans from Republicans. It's against the Democratic Party from Democratic Party voters. So Bernie Sanders, who was able to collect this really group of people that nobody can reproduce, this coalition. Bernie Sanders was able to produce this coalition of people, conservatives, rural, urban, all together. And he took that to the Green Party. You mean to tell me more people would have been like, wait a minute, I'm out this bitch. I'm out, I'm going over here. More people, wait, they want this? They don't want people to do this? They're against war? People are really tired of war. They want to cut the war budget in half? Absolutely. You see? But Bernie picked himself over the people by saying, I don't want to end up like Ralph Nader and save the world. That's essentially what he said. I rather preserve my shit than to save thousands, millions of people.
Think about the strategy of this too. How does this make sense? How does this make sense, guys? Polls show that most Americans are ready to vote third party. 50% of voters for the very first time are registered independent. So the momentum is there. Both parties are deeply unpopular. Joe Biden, the most unpopular president in modern American history. Kamala Harris, the most unpopular vice president in modern American history. The U.S. Congress is the least unpopular Congress we've ever seen. So AOC is unpopular. Her approval rating is around the same as Nancy Pelosi. It's horrific. One of the reasons why that is fair or unfair. People associate her with the Democratic Party. People associate AOC with Biden in the Democratic Party because she goes on the news and say, well, I think Biden's doing a good job, right? So people associate her with the already failed institution of the Democratic Party. AOC could be way more popular if this scenario played out and then she joined the side of Bernie. Because then people wouldn't have this perception, oh, AOC is just another Nancy Pelosi, because she would truly be independent. So instead of supporting the third wave that will make you popular now, they've hitched their wagon, and they still continue to hitch their wagon on a massive unpopular party, the Democratic Party, which takes them down too with them, which is why the strategy doesn't make sense. So it hurts the movement, but despite how unpopular AOC is, despite how unpopular these people are, they live a life of luxury. They are insulated. They live in these gated communities. They are surrounded by insiders that only prop them up. So essentially, they chose this privileged Washington life, even though they are hated by the proletariat, but they are insulated, so they don't get to hear it. They chose the Washington insider life over being beloved by the proletariat and helping out the proletariat. So how is that not as bad as someone who just outwardly sells out, like a Joe Manchin or a Kristen Sinema, right? Go ahead, CJ.
I think the latter or the previous comparison is worse. Yeah. Because Joe Manchin is saying, look, you know who I'm with up front.
He down there flicking you guys out during his campaign.
Yeah, like I much more prefer that. I much more prefer a hooded Klansman than a boss, than a Klansman in a police uniform. Like I much rather to know somebody to exactly tell me who they are and for them to show me who they are without any sort of equivocation than this. But let me bring this video back up because Chris makes a couple of more points I want to discuss with you, Nick. Let's see.
It wasn't real. It was to raise money for his election cycle. And then, of course, everything evaporated or vanished as soon as he didn't get the nomination. We were all supposed to trot out and support Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden. So, history has shown Howard Zinn, I think, did the best job of this in A People's History of the United States, that real change only comes through movements. It's nice to have figures in there that aren't completely tone deaf to what we want, but without any kind of pressure. And this is just something Ralph Nader has been speaking about for decades. The fact that there's been no pressure from the left has just seen this kind of forced march to the right. Though
Nick, this part, there is literally no pressure from the left. We had a massive worldwide movement, record-setting movement after George Floyd, and there's no pressure. How are you don't have the guts? Remember how AOC? Oh, yeah, I can't do nothing without pressure. You guys got to have some grassroots pressure. What happened then? How did they put their feet on the line then? How did they vote as a bloc then? What did they do when they had the political pressure behind them? What did they do? Absolutely nothing. Let's continue the video here.
The Democratic Party in Europe would be a far-right party. There's no daylight between them on all of the major issues, austerity, this gargantuan Pentagon budget, wholesale surveillance. I mean, Edward Snowden laid out the facts. What did they do? Nothing. The whole infrastructure bill, which is just going to transfer money to large construction corporations and the states, the fact that the unemployment benefits are running out, they will lift a moratorium on foreclosure and evictions is going to be lifted. They won't address the issue of student debt. And let's not forget that when we built a mass movement around the Occupy movement, it was a Democratic president that, in a coordinated national effort, shut it all down.
Yeah, and Democratic mayors from coast to coast let union cops crack the heads of peaceful protesters and ended that. So, I just had a brief taste of, I engineered this thing, forced the vote to try to get the squad in Congress who ran on doing such a thing, opposing Nancy Pelosi, and to just get something for their vote for her as speaker, because, well, here's what the Punch Bowl says. Now, Punch Bowl is a very mainstream newsletter in Washington, D.C. I just want to read to you what they sent out a few weeks ago. It said the squad, which has expanded to 7 members this Congress, has been generally supportive of the leadership in Biden this year. There was a moment last month when it looked like they were going to bring down a $1.9 billion Capitol security funding bill due to concerns about more money going to the U.S. Capitol Police. In the end, AOC, Tlaib, and Representative Jamal Bowman voted present, while Omar Presley Bush voted no. Representative Mondaire Jones voted yes. The bill ended up passing by a single vote, but the episode showed that the leadership is essentially powerless without the squad. In fact, the squad, if it chooses to, could run the House. Now, that's...
We say this all the time. I got clips back in the police on the populist voice where I'm saying that they can literally affect every single piece of legislation that comes to the House floor. Literally. That's not hyperbole. They could do that now. And in this article breaks it down. 1.9 billion capital spending bill that included the funding. AOC, Tlaib, and Jamal Bowman voted present. Omar and Presley voted no, and then this was the sacrificial lamb. You don't think this was coordinated? You don't think this was coordinated so that everybody doesn't go after the squad? Now, why the fuck are you voting present for this bill? Why are you're this spineless that you're voting present? You can't make a decision. So you have to vote present so that the bill can go forward with this one vote from Mondaire. This is like so disgusting, Nick. Go ahead.
And how dumb do they think their supporters are? So they vote present so they can say, oh, well, I didn't technically vote for it. You were still complicit in making it pass.
Right.
And they do this all the time. Like a few people in the squad has it their issue. They are allowed to speak on. Like Rashida Tlaib recently put up a statement condemning Israel for their killing of Shireen Abdul-Akleh. So because she's Palestinian, they give her that issue. Cori Bush, because she started from the Black Lives Matter movements of Ferguson, they give her the policing issue. That's her main issue. So you see how Cori Bush voted no here. And you see how they will allow they have the good guy in some votes, and then they have the bad people who take the hits on other votes. So then they can turn around like, oh well, come on, we're not sold out. We just had miscommunication, as if they have a whoopsies, as if they are just that unorganized as a political office, as if like, oops, well, we should have came together, but we just ran out of time. Sorry, no, guys, this is you guys think it's not coordinated? You think they didn't put Ayanna Presley and plan? Remember, CJ, we talked about this a few weeks ago. They planted her in the squad as a check. She was there to tell, and Cori Bush fucked up in her interview because she told us this. This is why you don't see these people having independent media interviews, because every once in a while, just because they're human, they will fuck up. Cori Bush fucked up when she was asked about why they don't coordinate their votes. She said, well, Ayanna Presley told me one day, sister, we all vote alone. And so she said that, we was like, go, she just told on them so bad. Then they pulled it like, motherfucker, you never do no motherfucking interviews ever.
We haven't seen her going out doing no interviews like that. But to your point, Nick, tell me this is not coordinated. You really believe that Ayanna Presley is to the left of AOC on this? Is that what we're believing? Remember, she voted no. So you're telling me that Ayanna Presley is to the left of AOC. That's bullshit. Coordinated effort by this literally this joke, this cast called the Squad. They're just actors playing a role.
And if you look at all the votes that they coordinate to pass, like the Iron Dome vote is another one of note. There'll always just be one holdout, and then the other ones will either vote present or yes. And once again, they don't coordinate their vote to actually stop shit, but they coordinate their vote somehow to always get something that establishment passed. And if this happened one time, I'd be like, that's weird. But then once it happened more than once, I'm like, okay, I'm not a fool. You're not going to show me the same pattern, and I'm not going to pick up on it. But go ahead, CJ.
No, great point. Let's finish this video so I can take it off and wrap this.
That's not crazy lefty Jimmy Dore saying that. That's not some socialist website. That's fastball down the middle, mainstream news, punch bowl newsletter, and they know that. So how are they getting away without coordinating their votes? I'll tell you, but I would like to hear what you think.
Well, because they're frightened. They want to stay in their particular perch. Pelosi and the Democratic Party leadership has made it very clear that if they do that, their careers are finished. Pelosi's power, like Schumer's, is that they are the funnel for the money, and they'll take them down. And in fact, like Bernie, I mean,
What do you think would happen if the squad, let's just say one day they drunk some RBN juice and was like, fuck this shit, we about to go ham, all of them? Are they going to take all 7 out? Do you know what kind of people power that they would get from funding to support if they came out radical, Nick? Like, fuck Nancy Pelosi. This, if they came out like that going ham, do you understand the people that will come out and support this? But they're worried. I don't get that, because I would think if they did that as a group, more people would support them.
It shows that this was always their intention, to be part of the club. And I remember Ro Khanna himself said it the best. Yeah. When he explained why he got on interviews, he was like, because when you're a member of Congress, you're the top 1% of 1% of privilege. Like, a lot of people get mistaken. They just see that $170,000 salary, and they're like, "Oh, well, they make $170,000 a year." And my uncle make $170,000 a year, so they must be the same level of privilege. No. The level of security, the perks, the benefit, the societal power you have, the ability to call in favors, the ability to travel, eat great meals, and just be this fucking esteemed figure. Like, this power that the Democratic Party grants you once you're a member of its circle is so corrupting, which is why, in hindsight, looking back and saying that not just taking corporate money is a good litmus test, that was clearly not enough. Like, people, we look back at Justice Democrats, like, damn, they didn't take corporate money. How could they sell out? God, that's just one mechanism of corruption. Right. And the idea, once again, this is all in hindsight, because I fell for it too. I'm laughing at myself too. Like, the idea that would be enough is ridiculous when you consider the massive amount of perks they get. Again, you see they on magazine covers. You treat like a celebrity for life. You get a lifetime pension. Your family is taken care of for life. You're in this social circle. So not only do you know everyone that can benefit you, you got your friends being senators, your friends being uplifted into higher society. And even if you think you're principled, you see your friends been uplifted and getting good education because you got the context, you got the connected, and they're like, man, don't ruin it for us. I know you want to stand for your principle, but what about your kids? Yeah, so it's you got to understand the point I'm making, right? There's so many different ways, and I'm trying to humanize people as well. Like, just think about it as a human. And if you're Bernie Sanders and you got these grandkids, and every interview you're like, I love these motherfuckers to death. You can be a pariah and hated, which these people, guys, as Michael Prinsley said, these motherfuckers play for keeps. If Bernie Sanders will go rogue, they will take it out on his kids, unless Bernie kids actively speak out against them. They will ban them from elite. They will say Bernie kids now. It won't be public, but they'll ban them from elite institutions. They wouldn't get good jobs. Oh, that's Bernie's the grandson. You know he on the blacklist. Bernie didn't want that for his grandkids. Like, you got to think about like that as well. If Bernie played ball, not only will they let him into the club, his kids, everyone around him will not be the enemy. And if he did do what we want him to do, go against the Democratic Party called the War Machine, let's keep it conservative. Because some people will say they were off. Some people. Let's just keep it conservative. Let's just say his family would be denied opportunity. Let's just say that. And that alone is enough corrupting influence. It don't have to be corporate money, right? But go ahead, CJ.
At all. Let's just do a comparison. Let's take Kashama Sawant, who donates the vast majority of her salary and lives like a worker. Literally, she lives off the pay, whatever the means income of a worker in that area. That's the pay she takes.
You know, progressive Democrats are looking at her like she's fucking crazy. AOC, Nina, and all them.
Yeah, like, did you see my gala dress? AOC is like, did you see my gala dress? You think I'm giving that up? And then you got the people. Then you have the AOCs, and you were generous because Yeah, that's their salary. But if you translate all of the benefits they get, they're probably making a $500,000 to $1 million a year is what worth. Because you're not talking about book deals. You're not talking about all the things that they could do to gain money. All the things that they could do to gain money. They can get paid. I don't know if they can get paid for speaking engagements until they leave. They can't do that until they leave. But all the things, and you think it's not our healthcare. Ain't the healthcare you and I get. So don't think, oh, they're just getting healthcare like us. No. They don't have healthcare that has copays. They don't have they don't have deductibles. They don't have any of that. They go to us, and then the doctors too are not for everybody either. Go ahead, Nick.
And I want to add one more thing. I'll pass it right back to you. Regarding like speaking fees and post-career, you guys think they haven't had the talk? You know they had the talk. This is what they say to these people. You really think your career is gonna last forever in Washington? You really think you're gonna be a 5-term congressperson? Yeah, y'all know you might be unpopular if you turn against the people. But think about it like this. You could turn against us and we would spend all our money to defeat you. And then once we would defeat you, we would slander you, we would turn you to a laughingstock pariah. Or you can join us. The people may hate you and you may lose in your 3rd term, but then you get a lobbyist position. Then you get a booking. Then you get a speaking fee tour. Then you will write books and we will push them through our convention. You guys know the Republican Party do this all the time. They have people write books and then they push their books in conventions. And then they get on the New York Times bestseller list. So they have this speech. They have this talk to them where they're like, "Yo, you're gonna lose anyway. You either lose with us and have perks for life, or you lose fighting for the people, and we will ruin you." And they definitely had these conversations, guys. Just think about it. I'm more of an outside thinker. I'm a creative. I have imagination, you can say, but I know for a goddamn fact when we had these questions, why don't they do it? You just ask, why don't they just fucking do it? Because they know what will happen to them. They have these talks. But anyway, go ahead, CJ.
Absolutely.
And they are kind of spineless. They won't confront power because they're too frightened about losing their political position, and that's what's happened.
Why are there so few people like us, Chris? Why are there so few people like us standing up to make them do something or deliver on their promises or exercise? The Freedom Caucus didn't pull this garbage. The Freedom Caucus did. Why was the Freedom Caucus allowed to drive John Boehner out of business and into alcoholism and selling pot when the Squad isn't, and they actually have more power with less people?
Well, they do have voting power, but they don't have economic power the way the Freedom Caucus does. And so they don't represent any major constituency within the Democratic Party establishment. So they actually have no power base, both either financial or political. You're right. They have the voting power to obstruct, but because they feel so vulnerable, they won't use it. And I think they've kind of exposed who they are. I mean, they're media creations. I mean, AOC does this very well, but in terms of being effective legislators, I don't see that they've accomplished very much.
So, Corey,
I think I can end this video here, and we can kind of sum up what I wanted this stream to be about. Is that we have to have a conversation about moving past politicians. It's really post-politician, post-Bernie, post this belief in this inside-outside strategy. Like, we need to enter the proletariat era, where we're helping each other, like what you saw with KC Barbecue, with Tour for the Poor, Nick in Rome. We're helping each other. We're educating each other. We're planning internationally. We're mobilizing internationally, but organizing locally. So look for what's coming up next for RBN. We're going to have this meeting this weekend, and we're going to be launching just new concept, new ideas that we're going to be wanting to work towards. And like I said, Nick, before you got on, 20,000 subscribers. If everybody gave $1, you know how many people we can help? Yeah, Nick is taking off. You know how many people we can help? You know how many hang on a second here. With 20 grand, the number of people we can help, the number of diapers, the number of clothes we can purchase for unhoused people, the number of blankets for the people down on Skid Row, which is one of the #1 requested items when we were down there. Like it's time to move past this. It's really time to move past this. Now we're gonna still talk about them when they do stupid stuff, when they sell us out, because it's still interesting conversation. And like you said, there's benefit in radicalizing people who are still in that. So you have to talk about those things. So people who are still in this red blue thing, we still want to capture them. We still want to radicalize them. So we still, in order to bring them in, we still have to talk about some of the things that they're still talking about. That's just the fact of what we have to do, a fact of strategy. And that's something we're going to continue to do. Nick, what's up next for you? What's your last words on this topic? Your last words about, the RBN media coming up, the future for RBN, what we want to do. Any of those comments, and then tell us like anything you got coming up next.
Yeah. So we plan on expanding. We're gonna do more diaper giveaways in Kansas City here soon, because we got a lot of people looking for them. And CJ is right. Like it's this is the first step that we need to have a true working class party, if you will, because if we come together as these communities that are connected together on a national level, like if you have Tour for Poor in Kansas City, and you have many of the left-wing organizations like KC10 come together, and we work together as a hostile force just in Kansas City. And then you have Rome, he has his militia in Detroit, and he's doing the same thing in Detroit. Fam, you guys doing it in your individual city. Then we start becoming a real political force that can mobilize towards good. And this is what people on the left, socialists, this is what communists, this is what Marxists, this is what we've been advocating for. And we are in the weak position that we are in as a working class movement right now, because people like DSA and social democrats have poisoned people's brain into thinking the process of acquiring liberation and power as a working class movement come from the same managerial class and party and power that we're attempting to gain power over, reallocating their wealth. They're not going to give it up to us. So I know it's late. I know compared to the global South and a lot of communists in Southeast Asia, we are behind the ball. But since this is life or death, we have to start now. And we started RBN because we had a lot of questions. These things we talked about a lot when we started forming this network. We're like, why aren't people doing this? Like, why isn't there no attempt to build these kind of communities? So we wanted to be the change that we wanted to see. So I appreciate if you guys can help out in your own organizations, in your own area, in mutual aid, and also consider helping us out. Join our organization that we plan on starting. Like, once again, we got a lot to talk about this weekend, CJ, because me and Rome, we were about
a lot.
And
it's supposed to be a 5-hour meeting. Go ahead.
I'm about to wrap up, but like I've been trying to end my streams with that message more often. Like I know we talk about because I got a lot. I haven't been live like in terms of my own show for a while, so I got a lot to talk about. And I know it could be radicalizing. You guys always ask what should we do, so I really want this to be the main message of the channel. We can save ourselves. Please do everything that you can, even if you feel like it's not that much. Even if you can't do what Rome is doing, even if you can't do a tour for the poor, do something that can help advance this proletariat movement. So that's all I had to say. And I think we're about to wrap up too, right? So
yeah. I'm gonna play this final video. Are you doing any streaming this weekend or any upcoming?
Yeah, I'm playing a Saturday show. I'm playing a Saturday show. So stay tuned.
So look for that, everybody.
Yeah.
So look for that. All right, Nick. Whenever you want to check, I'm gonna play this video. Make sure you also subscribe to our Substack. That's how you get notifications, because I originally wasn't going to even come on today, but plans fell through for something else, so this time slot opened up for me. So if you subscribe, you'll begin to get when we start to write articles, you'll get those articles on our Substack. Also, we notify people about our streams through our Substack, so make sure you join our Substack so you can get those notifications. It's time for a post-Bernie, post-AOC, post-PMC, post-reformist era. It is time for the proletariat era. And this video, I played it yesterday, I think. This is the Young Lords. And wait, this is the Young Patriots. Sorry, this is the, I mixed two names. This is the Young Patriots and the Black Panthers talking about building coalition, proletariat working class coalition. So the stream will end after this video. Everybody have a great rest of your Thursday and weekend if I don't see you again.
Went to this community meeting with the Join organization.
Panthers are here. Panthers are here. For uptown. Okay. We come here with our hearts open. You cats to supervise us, where we can be of help to you. What do you want in your community? What do you want here? Are you afraid of paying? You want to take berets off, man, or what, man?
There were a lot of suspicions about the Black Panthers, that they were gun-carrying terrorists.
It was a scenario that I had never been in before. I see some guys with Confederate flag patches. I was a little concerned.
The thing we got to deal with is concept of poverty, man. We got to erase the color thing. See,
the building's not fit for dogs to live in, but humans having to pay $144 a month and things. They sell the building, to new ownership. What we need is understanding among the people, coalition between the people to stick together and take them owners and put them over here in the lake somewhere.
Right on. Once you realize, man, that your house is funky with rats and roaches, same way a black dude's house is, once you realize that your brother's been brutalized by the cops, the same way the west side and south side is, once you realize that you are paying taxes for the cops to whoop your ass, you're paying them. You're paying them to kill you. And deal from there. The same thing's happening on the south
Bob
side.
Lee turned out to be quite an organizer. And he says, yeah, my name is Bobby Lee, but my real name is Robert E. Lee. And we all laughed. He said, you got to be kidding me.
Who's here that want to see this thing move? Right on. But the first thing we talk about now is how we're going to organize. Where we're going to organize. And, we're all going to get run out of here eventually.
That was a good meeting. It was. It got everybody riled up.
Now I'd